And Nigeria receives additional support from United States Agency for International Development to accelerate access to electricity in the country. We begin at the State House, where the administration of President Bola Tinubu is demonstrating commitment towards checking corruption and related matters in the public procurement processes, with the setting up of a committee to review the Public Procurement Act. This decision from Wednesday's meeting of the Federal Executive Council is to give expression to the stand of the administration in ensuring probity, proficiency and diligence in the execution of federal projects. State House correspondent Musbah Damahab reports.
Meeting of the highest decision-making body in the land, first in the month, is the 7th in the year. The meeting came to order as Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, led members to congratulate President Tinubu on his re-election as the chairman of ECOWAS Authority of Heads of States and Governments. We are certainly proud that the sub-region so recognizes the leadership quality of their principal.
Our support is total, our loyalty is 100% to you. Continue to support you to provide meaningful and purposeful service, not just to Nigeria, but to ECOWAS, to Africa, and even beyond. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Onto the core business of the day, voluminous as they came, a number of memos sought the attention of the Council, but not so many scaled through. Part of them are some memos presented by the Minister of Works which demand augmentation of some project contracts. The Council stepped down the memos and directed a review of the contract among the Minister of Works, Budget and Economic Planning and that of Finance.
All the projects that we said will be stepped down do not mean that they are going to be thrown away. What Council decision is that we'll bring them all, look at them again. Now the Minister of Budget, Minister of Finance, the Minister of Works will sit down and look at the projects again and reprioritize.
This situation necessitated the Council to equally direct that all processes related to the revitalization of the National Procurement Council be intensified. A bill seeking the amendment of the Public Procurement Act has gone through first reading in the National Assembly, and the Attorney General and Minister of Justice is now to chair a committee to review the Act.
The position of Council on Procurement Act is that it is long overdue for amendment. The last time it was touched was in 2007, and because of the changing dynamics, it is important that we bring these the content of the Act, to be in tandem with the happenings in the society.
After a robust discussion, Mr. President directed that all ministries, departments, and agencies should review their intended procurement as provided for in the appropriation, such that where there are gaps between appropriated sums and sums required to do to execute the projects, that can be brought to the attention of both the Ministry of Budget and National Planning and Federal Ministry of Finance.
The controversies played up by a National Daily's news report on the Samoa Agreement received the attention of the Council, as the government insists that the report is false and misleading.
We expect that the industry's ombudsman will look at that dispassionately, and the Federal Executive Council will be patient to await the report of the ombudsman. Thank you very much.
And so the Federal Executive Council restates the administration's commitment to continually respect the freedom of the press, but demands responsible journalism in the interest of the country. From the State House, Musbao, then Wahab, NTA News.
Thank you, Musbao. And in the meantime, the federal government has approved a 150-day duty-free import window for assorted food commodities. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Abubakar Kyari said the suspension of duties, tariffs and taxes covers maize, husked brown rice, wheat and beans. He, however, says the imported food commodities will be subjected to a recommended retail price. Kyari also says the federal government will import 250,000 metric tons of wheat and 250,000 metric tons of maize and will be supplied to small-scale processors and millers across the country. To this end, governments will provide support to farmers to scale up production during the 2024 to 2025 planting seasons. The minister says engagements with relevant stakeholders for the purchase of surplus food commodities to restock the National Strategic Food Reserves are ongoing. He says the ministry is collaborating with subnational entities to identify irrigable lands and increase land under cultivation. Ahead of the planned population and housing census in Nigeria, the federal government has inaugurated a Census National Security and Logistics Committee to drive a hitch-free exercise. National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, who is chairing the committee, assured of a safe environment for the headcount. Olusheye Adiagbo has details.
Duty calls again, this time to mitigate likely security and logistic challenges towards achieving a credible population and housing census as preparations to deliver first digital head count in Nigeria continue. The inauguration of the Security and Logistics Committee is the latest move to achieve this quest. The committee is jointly chaired by the National Security Advisor, Nur Ribadu, and National Population Commission Chairman, Nasir Isakwara, with members selected from relevant security agencies and other partners.
It is in the light of this and the desire to bequeath an enduring legacy of evidence-based planning for sustainable development that the conduct of the nation's population and housing census is of topmost priority to the administration of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Therefore, we are doing this not to be caught pants down. We will be ready. The rest, of course, is when government tells us, come, we want to do it. So we are ready.
I wish to assure the committee and all Nigerians that the Commission remains committed to the conduct of a credible and acceptable census that will be transformational and meet international standards. In the coming census, everyone will be counted.
The NPC sensitized the committee members on pre-census engagements and gave an update on the state of preparations. Next move, according to the National Security Advisor, will be to have the same Census Security and Logistics Committee replicated in all the 774 local government areas of Nigeria. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Nigeria has received additional support from the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, to accelerate access to electricity in the country. The 115.2 billion Naira Intervention Fund will be expended in the provision of power infrastructure for on-grid and off-grid, as well as renewable energy in the next 7 years. While the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Power, Mahmouda Maman, signed the Memorandum of Understanding for the implementation of the intervention on behalf of the federal government, Melissa Jones signed for the United States Agency for International Development.
Nigeria is a special place for us. It has been a critical priority since the beginning and will continue to be so going forward.
USAID intends to launch Empower Nigeria, a new 115 billion naira program to support Nigeria's energy reform and clean energy transition. This is because we believe in the leadership here.
We are committed to working together to ensure transparency, improve market efficiency, and accelerate the transition to clean energy solutions. This aligns perfectly with our national goals of achieving net zero carbon emissions by year 2060. By working with USAID and leveraging their expertise, we can empower the private sector, strengthen our regulations, and unlock the full potential of our power sector. This will not only bring light to millions of homes, but also unlock economic growth and sustainable development across Nigeria.
In other news, President of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, says his country is ready to partner with the Federal Republic of Nigeria in key areas of the economy. This was when he received the First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, in his office, highlighting agriculture, food processing, industry and education as some of the key areas of cooperation between the two countries. President Lukashenko, who spoke through an interpreter, pointed out that the visit of the First Lady has further strengthened the resolve of his administration to enhance bilateral relations with Nigeria. He expressed the desire of his government to have the Belarusian Foreign Affairs Minister visit Nigeria to further develop these areas of collaboration. While appreciating President Lukashenko for providing 20 Nigerian students full scholarship through her pet project, the Renewed Hope Initiative, Nigeria's First Lady told her host that the initiative is currently involved in empowering women, especially through the Women in Agricultural Support Program, which is a way to improve on food security in Nigeria.
У нас была встреча с министром образования.
And we had quite, a few collaborative ideas that both countries can share.
И мы
That's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu with the Belarusian president. This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. More reports in a moment. Stay with us.
From the creeks of the Niger Delta to the breathtaking scenery of the plateau, in noonday and nighttime, we set out to bring to you captivating stories that evoke your emotions. For fascinating documentaries and reports on day-to-day issues with expert analysis, tune in to NTA News 24, DSTV Channel 419, GoTV Channel 26, StarTimes Channel 101 and 433, and Free TV Channel 703.
Welcome back. The Senate is evaluating a new bill aimed at increasing the proportion of gold in the country's foreign reserve assets from 4% to 30%. Details with Alika Okmanachi Arua on Business News.
This move by the Senate to increase Nigeria's gold share reserve assets is to diversify the reserves away from reliance on the US dollar and towards a more sustainable commodity. According to the bill, the Central Bank of Nigeria will be designated as the automatic purchaser of all gold produced in the country. Currently, Nigerian reserve stands at $34.8 billion, with gold accounting for only 4% as of the end of November 2023. Meanwhile, the federal government has approved a 150-day duty-free import window for assorted food commodities. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, in a statement on Wednesday, says the suspension of duties, tariffs and taxes covers maize, husked brown rice, wheat and cowpeas. He, however, says the imported food commodities will be subjected to a recommended retail price. He also maintained that the federal government will import 250,000 metric tons of wheat and 250,000 metric tons of maize, and it will be supplied to small-scale processors and millers across the country to help farmers scale up production during the 2024-2025 planting seasons. Similarly, the Jigawa state government is providing civil servants in the state with agricultural loans to boost agriculture and improve food security in the state. The Jigawa State Head of Civil Service, Mohammed Dangasiri, stated this while declaring open a one-day sensitization and training of monitors for workers' agricultural loan. The initiative, he noted, will enhance civil servant welfare and well-being for high-impact performance while offering them a supplementary income window, thereby increasing the state's GDP. Now let's take a look at tradings on the floor of the exchange. With business news, Alika Opanachi, Arua.
Now, each human being is created by God for a purpose, yet many do not know their purpose in life, thereby not fulfilling their destinies. The book entitled Destiny, authored by a lawyer, Modukwe Adekunle, makes interesting reading due to the fact that there is no human being that is created without a purpose. Thomas Ogbetere was at the book launch and now reports.
The 100-page book made it clear that all humans are created for a purpose, but fulfilling their destiny requires determination, endurance, and discipline in getting closer to God and avoiding destructive tendencies and social vices. The book reviewer and other guests stressed the need for self-retrospection and recommended the book to the public, especially those seeking spiritual upliftment.
As we're working towards meeting your destiny, there are going to be ups and downs. But with those ups and downs, we should not give up. We should still continue until you are able to fulfill destiny.
The book, for me, what it will help you do is it will help you nurture you into what you ought to be or what you want to be.
But it's about attaining your destiny. That's the main thing. You get motivated, but how are you ready to take it up into your daily activities, I think.
The author of the book, Destiny, You Are Created to Impact Lives, Modukwe Adekunle, says the book gives an insight on how many successful persons both in Christendom and the secular world made it and impacted lives and future generations.
It's simply about why are we here on the face of this earth. In the book, I wrote so many things about different people's opinion about their stay in this earth. But the bottom line is, have you impacted anybody in any way? Are you doing and touching lives negatively or positively because of your position in life or because of your color or your background? One thing you must always remember, that everything will pass away. But what stands for you in the face of this earth is what you have left in other people's lives.
The author also added that living and fulfilling one's purpose as well as helping others to fulfill their destiny is one of the best legacies one can leave behind. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
Let's go to the political scene now. The leadership of the People's Democratic Party wants the purported former Rivers State lawmakers who defected from the party to stop actions that could disrupt peace in the state. This was a media briefing in Abuja. Yusuf reports.
This media briefing is in reaction to the issuance of a 7-day ultimatum to Governor Siminalayi Fubara to represent the 2024 Rivers State budget, which has already been passed and signed into law. The development is viewed as condemnable by the People's Democratic Party. He therefore urged the Inspector General of Police to take action against the purported former lawmakers' actions and ensure peace and security in Rivers State.
The Nigerian people are with us, and we have resolved to remain united, to focus on the party and the people.
Meanwhile, members of the Arewa Youth for Peaceful Coexistence have cautioned against politically sponsored protest against the FCT minister Nyesom Wike, describing some recent attacks on the minister as diversionary tactics by his political rivals. While calling for peace in Rivers State at a media briefing in Abuja, the group says some of the recent protests against the FCT minister are sponsored.
This attack and blackmail are nothing short of a level of negative politically motivated.
The group applauds Wike's stride and asks well-meaning Nigerians to support the minister in his mission to develop the Federal Capital Territory. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Here's the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Here is a look at our top stories. President Bola Tinubu moves to check corruption in public procurement processes, sets up committee to review public procurement act. Federal government approves 150-day duty-free import window for assorted food commodities. And Nigeria receives additional support from United States Agency for International Development to accelerate access to electricity in the country.
This is NTA News 24.
Let's now get some more news from the foreign scene.
NATO leaders have pledged to provide Ukraine with at least $43 billion in military aid within the next year to bolster its defense against Russia, formally declared Kyiv on an irreversible path to membership in the Western military alliance. A communique at the end of the NATO summit in Washington, D.C. includes the United States, Netherlands and Denmark announcing that the first NATO-provided F-16 fighter jets will be in the hands of Ukrainian military pilots by this summer. The U.S. also says it will be deploying longer-range missiles in Germany in 2026, a major step aimed at countering what the Allies makes his first international appearance at the NATO summit. In another, Libya's eastern-based parliament has approved what it called an additional budget of 88 billion Libyan dinars to its appointed government for the year. The parliament spokesman Abdallah Sheikh says the approval was unanimous in a closed session and also says at the end of April, a budget of 90 billion Libyan dinars was approved for the Benghazi-based Libyan government of Osama Hamad, who came to power in March 2023 and is allied with the military commander Khalifa Haftar, who controls the east and large parts of the southern region of Libya. Lastly, Qatari and Egyptian mediators are seeking to bridge lingering gaps between Israel and Hamas in negotiations aimed at ending the war in Gaza, which has left tens of thousands dead.
That was Gabra Natala with the foreign news. And